Hey, Nikki here, and in this video, I'm going to take you through some simple strategies to better feel your core and your hip and shoulder stabilizers in exercises like a donkey kick or a bird dog. Now, as far as why this can feel really tricky, particularly if we're hypermobile and we already kind of struggle to feel things like core engagement or we struggle with stability, a lot of it is simply you are putting your body weight over your hands and knees, and we don't spend a lot of time in that. So it is inherently challenging to orient to a position that we don't use a lot. And so what I'm going to show you how to do is use potentially a yoga block, a band, or the wall to better feel those muscles. So it'll make the exercise, it'll be easier to do the exercise well, but it'll actually make it feel a little bit more challenging in terms of muscle engagement. If you don't know what I mean, try out the exercises in this video, and then you can let me know if it kind of clicks a little bit better. So what do I mean when I'm talking about things like bird dogs or donkey kicks? I'm simply talking about an exercise like this where you reach out an opposite arm and leg, and then you switch sides. Or maybe you are just kicking out just the legs or just the arms. Now, in theory, when we do this, we are trying to avoid shifting from the pelvis or sinking in the low back, things like that. And it can be really difficult to kind of figure out where you need to be for that. So one of the things that sometimes works is if you have something like a block or an inflatable ball, you can set yourself up where you really have the block kind of wedged between your pelvis and the wall. And then once you are in your preferred position, and sidebar, if you get wrist pain, you can always walk your hands a little bit more in front of you versus being perfectly under you. Now you can play with lifting that leg. And already, I know for me, I feel my core a lot more because now I can no longer shift off of it because I'm pushing into the block. And then you also could do the arm and the leg or just the arm. So that's one of my favorite ways to kind of create a little bit more stability. Other ways that you can use the block, this one's really light, so a cork block or a more weighted object sometimes works a little bit better. But you can take the block and you can put it anywhere across your pelvis, lower back, or upper back. And then again, you can try not to lose the block when you do the exercise. And again, this can all apply to if I'm doing something more like a kick up or a donkey kick, it's going to be the same idea for all of these. So I really like the block for that. Another thing that you can do is you can set yourself up. I am just going to use my box here, but I could also use the wall where you push your foot into the box or the wall, and then you could do just the arms. And then conversely, you could set yourself up to push one hand into a box or the wall and just do the leg. So those are all going to be ways to increase the sense of stability and feedback on where you are. Finally, the band can be very helpful. So if you tend to sink in your shoulders and your wrists, you can put it between your forearms, and it's going to be harder to kind of dump down because now I've got something to push into. And then again, I could do any of those leg variations that exist. So that can be very helpful. Or you can do something like place the band around your foot and your knee. And that is going to create a little bit more feedback in an exercise like this. You could also finally place the band around both feet. And that is going to give you more feedback for an exercise like this. So those are several strategies that you can play around with depending on just what clicks in your brain and for your body. None of them are right or wrong. It's just about kind of mixing and matching and then finding variation that works best for you. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'll catch you in another video.